So what you see on the screen is the community of Cerro de Pasco. It's 4,400 meters above sea level in the Andes of Peru. 67,000 people living there. It's a community, but as you can see, it's also a mine. The Spanish discovered that mine back in 1630. They start an operation. That mine has never stopped its operation since. Rare are the mines that have such a statistic. In 1906, Mr. J.P. Morgan himself made what they still call the greatest investment of the 20th century in Peru. He invested tens of millions of dollars into that project. The Americans have sent to Peru the best engineers, the best geologists, the best metallurgists. Cerro de Pasco became the school of all the mines on the planet. Cerro de Pasco became the cash cow of the country. Cerro de Pasco became the largest gold, copper, silver mine in the world. So they extracted from that pit over the years 300 million tons. This is a forward-looking statement the authorities suggest us to add to our PowerPoint presentation. I invite you to go to our website and read it. So I just mentioned to you they extracted 300 million tons out of this pit. Some of it was processed. That's what you see in white and orange. The rest of it was stockpile. So what we own, Cerro de Pasco resource shareholders, we own the mineral rights on these stockpile and these tailings. So we own the mineral rights on what we expect to be the largest above ground mineral resource on the planet. Next slide, I'm going to show you a satellite picture. So you can see what was processed is now in orange, what was stockpiled is now in blue. So at some point, you can see also on your right, there are two flotation facilities that belongs to Volcan. They still process 10,000 tons per day. At some point, at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, we were intended to buy the two flotation facilities. In fact, we were intended to buy Cerro de Pasco mine. For some reason, mainly because of COVID, we end up not making a transaction. But we spent 4 months up there doing an intense due diligence where we sent 2 geologists and 2 metallurgists. And what we have done, we have compiled the monthly reports from 1906 when Mr. J.P. Morgan made the investment until 1992 when they stopped sending material in these tailings. And we end up with that compilation. You can see there are 75 million tons that have been processed. We estimate that from those compilation, we estimate that they have recovered 60% of the metals. So we estimate contained metals, as you can see at the bottom. So if you put the copper, the lead, the zinc, and the gold into silver equivalent, you end up at 423 million ounces of silver equivalent above ground. Let's recall today to produce base metal and precious metal, 40% of the cost is mining. There's no mining here. So obviously we need a good relation with the community of Cerro de Pasco. That mine used to employ 7,000 people. Today, the pit has been shut down. That mine barely employs 400 people. So obviously, we're going there. We're going to create wealth back in the community of Cerro de Pasco. We're going to clean up those tailings and those stockpile by reprocessing them and putting them into a secure facility. So last year, we had from the government of Peru a signature, a supreme decree to enable us to perform the first drilling campaign on the Quilacocha tailing. So we perform 40 holes. And well, we're doing what we're doing. We're doing meters by meters, and we're freezing those samples. And when they come to the lab, we split the sample into two. Half of it goes for assay, went for assay, the other half goes for metallurgy. So from the first drilling campaign, you remember we estimate from the compilation, we estimate what was contained is in these tailings. We are exactly where we expected to be, except we're a little low on copper, but we're going to catch up on copper in the second phase of drilling, which is oncoming. The thing we didn't have, it's gallium, and we have a lot of gallium. If you check there, we've got 53.2 grams per ton of gallium. We also have indium. So the more we go to the south, even the last two holes to the south, we had an average of 86 grams per ton gallium. So, well, as Chen mentioned, gallium becomes so strategic. Gallium is to replace those silicone chips. Okay, they're going to build what they call a banded space chip, more efficient, can absorb higher voltage, can absorb higher temperature, can absorb higher frequency. So gallium becomes so strategic for United States. But 98% of the gallium is produced in China, and China has lately banned the exportation of gallium, germanium, and antimony to United States. So at the moment, from the first drill hole, we have 4 times the amounts of gallium produced and reported by China in 2024. That means if we succeed to extract all the gallium from this above ground tailing, we can support the planet for the next 4 years. The Pentagon is concerned. Pentagon says recovery of gallium from existing waste stream is the fastest way to make the material more available. So this is exactly us. We got the gallium in this above ground. So let's do some economics now. Let's take conservative numbers, okay? Let's take silver at $30 and gold at $2,500. So we got an in situ value of $169 US per ton. Let's assume we're using those neighbor facilities with Denver Cell. They're old facilities. Let's say we're going to recover 40% of the material. So we end up with an NSR per ton at $49 US. OPEX, almost nothing. Mining costs $1 per ton. So let's assume OPEX at $10, we got a profit per ton at $39. Profit on 75 million tons, it's almost $3 billion. That makes a scenario at 10,000 tons per day, $140 million US profit a year for 22 years. So now let's assume we're going to build our own facility. We're going to recover gallium and indium. So that means it gave us an in situ value of $198 US per ton. All the facilities built in Peru after 2012 recover more than 70% of the metals. Let's assume we're going to recover 70% of the metal. That put us with an NSR at $100 US per ton. OPEX will increase at $15 per ton because we have to treat the gallium. So that make a profit per ton at $85 US. On 75 million ton, it's $6.3 billion US. It's $610 million US profit per year. So you've got the lower bracket and the higher bracket. We will be somewhere in between. But let's recall, we have a market cap right now less than $300 million or close to $300 million Canadian money. So what are the catalysts before Christmas time? We're going to get a second easement, a second supreme decree from the government of Peru to be able to drill what's around our permit. That's number one. Second, we're going to announce at the end of October or beginning of November some metallurgical results. And we never know, before Christmas, we might pull a rabbit out of the hat with our gallium and some negotiation we might do with the government of the United States.
So this is how we're going to process these tailings. Those tailings are naturally saturated with water. So if you do an excavation, it's going to naturally fill with water. We're going to bring a pontoon on site, and we're going to create slurry, and we're going to pump this slurry to the neighbor facilities or the facilities that we're going to build ourselves.
So this will be Cerro de Pasco in 20 years. So our corporate overview, we've got north of 500 million shares outstanding. Eric Sprott, fully diluted, owned 22%. Management owned 14%. And we've got 3 institutions that own 15%. So half of it is float. We had some pressure on the stock lately. Why? We had warrants expiring on October 6th at 25 cents. Okay, this is almost done. And today the stock has performed well. The good thing, the remaining warrants are in the back. Most of the remaining warrants are in the back pocket of Eric Sprott. And Eric Sprott do not need to sell shares to exercise warrants. This is us